prevention and public safety. Cooking safety. The kitchen is a really big hazard when it comes to home fires, seeing how 66% of fires happen in the kitchen. There are many ways for a fire to start in the kitchen, and many are quite preventable, such as leaving the stove on, leaving electrical appliances plugged in way after it had been used, leaving your workspace dirty, cooking while drowsy, drinking, or under medication, leaving your cooking space unattended, using your stove as a heater, deactivating your smoke alarm, not rechecking to make sure that everything is off, and keeping flammable things near the flame. All of these are only some of the many potential fire hazards brought up by the NFPA. Electrical safety. Electrical hazards are also a very present source in causing home fires, seeing as how there are approximately 51,000 fires caused in homes annually, all due to faulty wiring. Many of these can go unnoticed since we literally have wires all over the place, but some of the most important ones are, faulty wiring, overheating, sparks, and down power lines. For any of these, unless you have the wisdom and were professionally trained on how to deal with these situations, do not approach them, especially if it is a down power line. The others have a risk of giving an electric shock that can result in temporary harm or could be dealt with by some form of rubber appliance. But in a downed power line situation, even if you have the knowledge to deal with it, you do not have the equipment, and it is far too dangerous. The best way you can help is by keeping people clear of the line and to call 911 and let them know and handle the situation. Now for much smaller ones, you can call in a technician who is specialized in this field to go to your house, turn off the power, and fix your problem before it becomes a fire department's. Also use your common sense. Don't leave too many wires connected to just one outlet. Not only can it short out all of your electronics, but start a fire of course. 3, 2, emergency evacuation/egress. In the case of a fire, having a way to exit a building can help minimize the amount of the lives lost. But just because you have a way out doesn't make it into a race. Take your time exiting a building. Panic and chaos also lead to deaths, not just a fire. Through pushing and shoving, you can trample over someone without noticing, and maintaining a calm mind can give you more space to think out your plan and calming others. Showing that you can hold composure can be a sense of relief to people around you as well, and can give you power enough to maintain order enough to get everyone to safety. Herd mentality is a big element to causing two things. One being what I just mentioned, providing a sense of security and protection, working collectively to achieve a goal. And the other, the one where it's a chain of fear and dread leading to an example of only the fittest surviving. This will only turn people to madness where they'll be frantically looking for an answer that will almost always end in a bad way. And more people seeing a group of people freaking out will lead to that person beginning to question and doubt themselves, leading them to joining the group in fear, where they all will doubt, fight, and blame each other for any wrongdoings and prove that they are correct. Now, it may seem like I'm going off topic, and I might, but these are constant things that can go through a person's mind, even if they are walking downstairs. Monkey see, monkey do, right? One panicking person can turn into two, and then those two turn into 6, and so on. It's easier to go downhill than uphill, meaning that if you lose your composure, it will be hard to get it back. And in those moments that you're not aware of your actions, can lead to the doom of others and to the doom of yourself. Fire extinguishers. Fire extinguishers are a great material to have during a fire and should always be around no matter what. Fire extinguishers are a way for any sort of civilian to take up arms to combat a small fire before it becomes a big issue that can lead down a very slippery and windy road. With the presence of fire extinguishers, the need to call the fire department can be brought down all the way to only needing a checkup or inspection to make sure that the fire is extinguished, and quite possibly finding the rudimentary cause of why the fire started in the first place. But fire extinguishers do save lives. They're also pretty easy to use. Pull, aim, press. That's all. It's not complex and needs only minimal action for it to work. Fire drills. Fire drills are quite important. Though some may believe that these drills are unnecessary, they form a small psychological sense of routine. It has you run a non-dangerous procedure that you can later relate to when in crisis, giving you a sense of how to act and what to do during an emergency, or at least engrave a small map on where to go, showing you a path you might not remember mentally, but probably physically. This is also a reason schools and some workplaces use drills, to give their students and employees a sense of direction that will lead them to safety. Carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is one of the highest reasons for deaths in a fire. Fire is not the only element that leads to death. Smoke inhalation is too. And smoke contains carbon monoxide, basically a poison for the human body that is not so easily flushed out by oxygen like carbon dioxide. Carbon monoxide is lethal, and not only is it silent and deadly, but it can even rear its head even after the danger of fire is long gone, and even if there is no sign of fire. Carbon monoxide causes shortness of breath, nausea, dizziness, lightheadedness, or headaches. If you feel any of these symptoms, report it to a first responder immediately. These symptoms can lead you to panic, and it might make it harder for those trying to help you. Fire sprinklers. Other than fire extinguishers, fire sprinklers are also another method to fight fire. Though it may not be as potent as an extinguisher, it helps mitigate the fire, keeping it at bay and from spreading. If the sprinklers do go off, don't get scared. It's a good thing they turned on. It means that there is a fire and it's giving you a heads up and time to react to exit the building. Water suddenly falling from the sky indoors is alarming, but not something to freak out about. There is a chance that the sprinklers even put out the fire. So you freaking out can lead to your own self-harm that could have been avoided entirely. Christmas tree safety. Now, trees. They are very pretty during Christmas and are a very common decoration. But if set up badly, it can lead to the worst Christmas event. To make sure to keep this from happening, check your wiring when putting lights on a tree, especially if it was a live one. My family owns an electrical fake tree, so although the dangers are there are far, far less of them. A real tree not only has dead pine leaves falling off and drying up, making it into the best type of kindle, but a dried up tree lights up pretty quickly. That can engulf a room in minutes, if not done in seconds. Deep frying turkey. Deep frying turkey is very dangerous even if it's done outside. It's an event that the fire department urges you not to do. There are so many hazards that many overlook that leads to their harm. To begin with, don't fill your pot where it gets to the point of overflowing. And definitely don't drop it in. Descend the chicken in the pot slowly, and if you have enough sense to not use water on an oil fire, then you better not put a frozen turkey to fry. Because if you do, well. Also, be careful. Be careful of that oil. It can burn and burn badly if it makes contact with your skin. It can even get you a trip to the hospital and leave a serious scar. Well, we've gone over Christmas and Thanksgiving having high fire hazards. Good thing there is no festivity that celebrates with literal explosions. Oh wait. So, fireworks. Well, we know that they go boom already, so what is there to talk about other than don't be dumb? Don't point a firework to anyone, don't be near a firework when ignited, and never hold one in your hands, unless you want to lose it. I'm not talking about the firework either. Don't pick up any firework that has gone off, and don't try reigniting it. Also, don't put it in any type of container and box it in. A firework is quite literally a small explosion. It will obliterate that container and send shrapnel flying. Smoking. Oh boy, where to begin? A cigarette is basically a match that stays lit for far longer. So if you use one, always be sure to put it out after using it. Don't just throw it on the ground and leave it. Even if it is on hard, cold ground, the cigarette will let embers fly and start a fire on anything that it can grasp to. And don't smoke in areas where literally anything is considered as fuel, such as in your bed. If you do that, then there is a high probability that the cigarette will ignite your bed or pillow and start a fire right next to you. If you fall asleep, the dangers are even higher, and worse. Also, never smoke in a forest. Don't be the reason to cause a wildfire.